Hey everybody, this is Denny.
And this is James from TeaDB, bringing you episode number 173. So we brought on a High Mountain Oolong last show, and we are back to the Pu'erh.
People were complaining about how we only do Pu'erh.
So
if someone thought we were only doing Wooies for a little while, we're here to tell you, you're right.
Yeah. not the guy that thought we were only doing Wooies. Yeah.
No, just doing Pu'erh. Yep. No, we listen. We brought a green oolong last week, but we're gonna go back to some classic raw. So what do we got going on here, James?
Yeah. So this is a tea that was sent to me by Shah of Tea Chat and a bunch of online communities. It's 2007 Bada. So that's a Pu'erh mountain. It was stored in somewhat humid conditions, and just to get to the gist of the tea, I'm gonna give this
great
pair of rinses.
Smells awesome. It's burning up really orange.
Yeah. So it was definitely stored in somewhat humid conditions. I believe it was a tool, so bird's nest form. Take a whiff of that.
Yeah.
Or as my friend says, a smelter delter.
Ooh. It's got a really, really, really good raisin cigar.
Like very dark aroma.
Yeah, really, this kind of small, dried fruit sort of vibe.
And the leaves you could see look very dark, so that's how we can know that it was, well, especially as this brews out and we see the true wet leaf color, that'll tell us how humid this tea was at one point.
Right. So for you folks out there who don't know what James is talking about, raw oolongs are going to go from a green, sort of a dull green, down to a dark brown, if not even... potentially, well, they usually get black. They're not roasted.
Yeah.
So
right
really
black
really
sometimes.
Dark brown for these raws.
Yeah. And so this tea is not even particularly old. It's almost 10 years old. So that says something that the tea is brewing a sort of dark color already.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. And so the humidity is going to age the tea, from a biological perspective, age it more quickly than if it were stored in a dry environment. So that's why we're seeing some of the...
Yep. If this tea were stored in Seattle, it would probably be dark yellow or something. Yeah, let's take another smell of that. Yeah. Sweet, dark fruits.
Get more of the woodiness off the...
yeah, less cigars now.
Ooh, yeah. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's
It smells like it's going to be potent.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, really good viscosity, and thickness.
Yeah, it's especially stark contrast to the tea we just had, which is a fresh oolong.
Exactly. This has a light sweetness to it. I wouldn't say the sweetness is overpowering by any means, which I kind of like. It gives space for the complexities of the tea to come out, for other flavors to show up.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
I feel like it feels like a very robust, masculine tea. It's sort of like, I don't know. It's got a lot of oomph to it.
But it doesn't mean it's not going to vote for Hillary.
I'm with her.
Hell yes. So
I don't think this Bada is a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, I think we're getting too political for TeaDB.
Probably. We just lost. I don't know how much of our audience is Democrat or Republican. But
well, given that they're willing to put up with our shenanigans, odds are high that they're ridiculous.
That's true.
Whichever they end up.
Yeah.
But there's a significant cooling thing going on here, in my opinion.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not picked up on that.
I'm not tasting it. I'm not tasting the menthol, but I'm getting that cooling mentholy Vicks Vapor Rub feeling on the top of my mouth a little bit.
Do you get any of that in the aroma?
Not really. There's maybe a little bit of some herbal stuff on the lid. But no, not too strongly. And my guess is that's going to be a subtle flavor that will go away as this brews out.
So continuing to brew a darker and darker color. I made sure to break this tea up pretty good when we did. So we're getting to the oomph of the tea. It's filling up most of the shibaridashi. You can see the leaves are getting a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
They look more close to dark green / brown rather than brown, which is definitely what they were earlier.
They've actually expanded a lot more than I expected, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's give this a shot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's a little bit sweeter.
Yep.
It's almost like slightly tangy, too, in sort of like the finish.
I'm trying to put put a place on this, the sweetness, trying to place the sweetness. It's a little bit fruity. It's not at all particularly sweet, or not sweet in the same way, at least. And again, we just drank this green oolong. That green oolong was. It's definitely more. I don't want to say dull, but just not as strong.
Yeah.
Getting really good energy off this. Wow, feeling it.
Strong.
Yeah, it's going straight to my head. Let me get in there and give this another sniff. What did your friend call it? Sniffer differ?
Smelter delter.
Smelter delfer.
Come on now.
I'm sorry. You'd think that childishness would come so naturally to me, but
I don't know about that, but off of this I'm getting some grains. Stronger fruits in this comparison.
Yeah. I see both. Well, this is a warming tea, despite the fact that I got that menthol-y thing off of it.
Are you still getting sort of like that mouthful?
Not as much. Not as much anymore, but just that one. It's kind of a nice little note. I don't know.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Fruitier in this deep.
I think that if I were going to complain about one thing, it'd be that I kind of expected the body to increase a little bit more than it has. Which, part of my mind, I think part of my tea, I don't know, my tea assumptions would be that this would get to be a bit thicker, and it's not. This doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just something that I would have expected that's not happening. So.
And this fourth infusion that's sitting right there, I pushed it for a little bit longer. So if it's going to be a little bit thicker, more oily, it would be in this infusion.
I'm getting a little bit of the tang that you were talking about now.
Yeah.
It's not tasting, because it's not mouth puckeringly sour, but it has just a little hint of that. It's not citrusy either, but yeah, something kind of, I don't know, tangy and almost sour about it. It's almost like I'm experiencing the sourness more as a result of my mouth salivating.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Exactly. I don't exactly want to call it sourness,
right,
but it's some sort of sensation that is definitely not sweet.
Right.
It's sort of like initially you get a small burst of sweetness, and then it's something, and whatever that is that lingers in the mouth, it's not quite sourness, but it's something along that like style.
Yeah, very physical. This is an exciting tea for sure when it comes to the textures of it and just the physical sensation of drinking it. It's getting much more red too.
Yeah, I'm pushing it a little bit. Yeah. So we'll see how this infusion and that infusion.
And so we've been doing flash brews, flash steepings. This is
a little bit
longer.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've reheated the water too?
Yeah, I've reheated it twice now. Okay. So we are working with fairly hot water.
Cheers,
guys.
I don't want to call it bitter, but a little bit of those cacao bitterness.
No, I would agree with a little bit more bitter, more tannin than this, and I mean part of that is certainly the brewing. We're just sort of giving this tea more of a stress test, seeing if it is a little bit thicker. Are you getting thicker body at all? Or?
I am definitely, and I'm getting a little bit more woody as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And it has that, it still has that sort of lingering mouth pucker kind of feeling to it. Really tasty. A lot going on in this tea. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I think it's probably evident to our audience on the show that Pu'erh is kind of exciting and fun, is that I love drinking a JD Oolong and having it be steady and delicious, and I can just step away from it and come back to it and bring it on the next, drink it the next day. It's going to be reliable and yummy. Pu'erh, it's just, there's so much going on in this tea.
So many variables.
Yeah. Really. And 2 days after drinking the same tea, it tastes different. So, and that's obviously on me, but still, it's fun to be able to notice different things each time you drink the tea. What do you, in terms of ratios and that kind of thing, James, what are you using here?
I'm using 5 grams for about 75 milliliters.
Okay.
Pretty standard ratio for myself, at least.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I'm pushing it probably a tad more than usual, but that's mainly out of curiosity, just to see how the tea would perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. This is like hitting it
even
perfectly.
thicker.
Yeah. Because you're getting the body on it.
Yeah.
And but all those flavors are coming in through now. A little bit of that currant kind of raisin sweetness. A little bit of that woody cigar leaf kind of something. Great energy.
Really strong mouthfeel. Like, just stays there. Yeah.
This is the kind of tea that, for me, harkening back to last episode, this is the kind of tea that I would drink in the morning. This is the sort of tea that would be
wake you up.
Yeah. And probably after having some food. So. Yeah,
and you know what's interesting or funny about this tea is, I bet you if we reverse the orders, that high mountain tea would taste really weak. It would taste. We would have a hard time tasting it, because this tea is the stronger easily of it, and it's really powerful. Yeah, so if folks wanted to grab this tea, they can't, because it's not available. But
someone please make that into a meme stat and then email me.
Yeah, you can Photoshop like a fake beard on too.
100%.
Yeah, this was sent to us privately by Shah as sort of just an interesting, fun tea to try, I think. It's clearly been stored somewhat humidly, but I'm not really put off too much by the dankness of the tea. The tea still tastes, reasonably clean to me. You can definitely taste a little bit of humidity. Yeah,
it's totally great. Thank you.
So, thank you to Shah for sending us this tea. I think we both enjoyed it. It was fun to try. If
folks wanted to get something that is going to be like this, right? Because I always want people to be able to take away. I think one thing that people like to do is they're like, all right, well, let's try something similar to this. So what would you say?
I would say you should check out the teas over at White Tea and Yunnan Sourcing. Check out specifically teas that have been stored in maybe southern China or in Guangdong or Xishuangbanna, so in a little bit more humid climates, because as Denny touched on earlier, the tea is going to develop much differently.
Right.
This tea was clearly stored in a more humid climate, and as a result, it's a very different experience.
But both those vendors will have tea from this mountain, the Bada mountain.
They will. I'm not sure if they'll have it from this mountain, but they'll have tea in a similar vein, a similar sort of maturation level, at the very least.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.